by the blood of our people are your lands kept safe.
I see in your eyes the same fear that will take the heart of me.
So do all who live to see such times.
By all that you hold dear, this good earth.
There's some good in this world, and it's worth fighting.
Welcome back, everyone. We are talking again about the new movies that Warner Brothers has announced, or sort of announced, in terms of just saying they're looking into that aspect. They haven't actually announced any titles, but everyone wanted to know, what would Amazon think of this, since Amazon's currently making a Lord of the Rings TV show and will be for the next several 5 to 6-ish years. So we have a bit of a response here from Amazon Studios CEO Jennifer Saki.
I think
And-
it's Saki, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Saki. We're extremely proud of the Rings of Power and invested long term. So we definitely think there's enough fan love to sustain ours for a long time. We've talked about McKay and Payne and how they have claimed that they have a specific end in mind and they're building towards that, and so they kind of already have a roadmap of what's going on. It sounds like, they're not really addressing what is the main problem here, and it's not even just burnout to me. It's the fact that you have essentially competing products. Now, maybe you don't, because
Exactly.
I can see how, with Star Wars, we've talked about this in a previous video, how Star Wars is able to do it by staggering some of their TV shows.
But that's still all one franchise.
That's right.
You have two separate corporations working here.
Well, that's right, and
competing with each other.
well, and the thing that, I mean, part of my hesitation, as people have definitely noticed from our last video, part of my hesitation is that you're gonna have not only different writing teams, but like you just said, different ownership of this product, and they might write stuff that does not correspond.
Competing canons. Yeah.
That's right, and people are already saying no to the Rings of Power canon. This is more of, to them, it's more of a fan fiction come to life. If Warner Brothers has something in a movie that references this era and references these moments, that's gonna, to me, it won't matter. I will be able to look at both and watch both, but my thing is the regular people watching these things won't be able to do that. And yeah, maybe they have to turn to YouTube and learn about that, but I don't want them to have to. Like, this stuff should all, like, at least Star Wars has it all there for you to consume and learn about on your own. You shouldn't need to go to YouTube to learn about, like, how these things interact. And that's the issue I have here. Now, whether or not this is even true, that the Rings of Power have enough fan love to sustain them, I'm not sure. 2 years is a big time off for a show that had a, let's say, mixed, I'm trying to be generous here, a mixed response from viewers on whether or not it was of high quality. And we really need season 2 to step it up, and we're now waiting 2 years until we get season 2, and by then we are going to have a bunch of Star Wars stuff that's going to come out, like stuff like The Last of Us just came out.
Yeah.
So, like, people are going to have other things on their mind, and they might even forget about the Rings of Power altogether, and they might not even come back to it. That's the big worry.
They'll tune in for sexy Sauron.
That's right. That's right. I have an idea for a video where we talk about comments, and there's some fun ones about that. So one thing that we have no idea. Now you've pitched a few, I've pitched a few, in terms of Legolas and Gimli going off together after the original trilogy. What do they get up to? Young Aragorn is one. We know that we're gonna see the War of the Rohirrim, so we already know that one's coming.
I think the Corsairs, those guys. I think it'd be it's not a good idea, but they should do it anyway. So Pirates of the Caribbean with.
Well, no, so I know, like, don't sell your ideas short. So I just want to read this segment of the article. So while it's unclear which characters or events that the Warner Brothers productions will adapt, they have brought in some people that we might know the names of. Peter Jackson and Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyens are all quote-unquote in the loop regarding the franchise's future. And they're more... They do not... So Warner Brothers has said, we do not want to remake the original trilogy or adapt the Tolkien's books the way we did on the big screen in the early 2000s. Instead, we want to mine previously unexplored corners of Middle-earth. So, your idea about pirates, I mean, that kind of works, especially when people are wanting more Pirates
Peter
of the Caribbean.
Jackson can play the captain.
He loves playing that. That was probably his favorite role. I know last episode I was a little bit worried. I am a lot more at ease when I hear that. My worry is that when you try to do too much with the main group, as much as I would love young Aragorn and as much as I would love Legolas and Gimli or other aspects, heck, I still like the idea of just having the prancing pony almost be like a revolving...
Cheers.
Yeah, well, sure. I was thinking more of just like as a backdrop for like having characters come in and talk about events happening. And
you could like Tales of the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah, something like
not creepy stuff, but like it'd be
something a little bit more, something a little bit more down to earth and just sort of, just a kind of a cozy feeling, like you're at this inn and Anyway, so I have some ideas that I think are really good, but I'm worried that any of those ideas.
I have so many ideas that are so cheesy too that they, like Samwise, Mayor of Hobbiton, something like that.
Well, okay, but like, so as much as those, I like those ideas and I like your cheesy ideas. I do. If we can ever get in touch with Warner Brothers, we will pitch the hell out of these ideas. But I understand my worry is that when you talk about Sam, to do justice to what we've already seen in the original trilogy is such a high bar, and you cannot make a mistake in talking about the events that happened in the original trilogy, because then that completely wrecks the continuity of lore, which is one of my big sticking points, which is why I'm a little bit upset with the way the Rings of Power just chose to go about their lore, because when they first announced, it made it seem like while it wasn't going to be tied directly to the original trilogy, it was going to somewhat lead into it. And that's what, and obviously not the original trilogy, it was going to somewhat lead more into The Hobbit, which then is supposed to lead into the original trilogy, but you get what I'm saying. And I like continuity there, and that's my worry when you go to do, say, young Aragorn. Because if you do that, and then you do another project that has, like, say you do young Aragorn and young Legolas, but then one writer wants them to, like, interact and the other doesn't. And then the shows have, different continuity, and then they're supposed to both lead up into the original trilogy, in which it may or may not be the case that Legolas met Aragorn when he was younger, because of that one moment in the Council of Elrond when Legolas stands up to Boromir and says, "That is no mere ranger." And he says it with such emphasis that it's like, oh, they know each other. They are friends from way back. So like, you see what I'm saying? Like, there's so many like little things that my worry is when you touch the core of that trilogy. As much as I want to see it, I'm just so worried that it doesn't work, and then I'd be really sad. But exploring other nooks and crannies of Middle Earth, I 100% go full steam ahead, literally pump that shit out. I want to see all of it. That's great to me. I would love to see all, like, there are so many places that we have not seen, including in the original trilogy. Like, what the hell is Legolas's dad up to? I'd love to see that. I know from some other books and from the original trilogy of actual books a little bit about what's going on there.
Yeah, what's going on in Dale right now? What's
Yeah.
going on in Rivertown? All that stuff.
Yeah, like there are some areas that I would love to just know what's happening while the original trilogy is taking place. And again, I know people are going to say in the comments, read the books. I have read the books. I want to see it on the screen. Okay, that's what I want to see. And look, this is where maybe you get a Tom Bombadil, okay? I know, everyone's freaking out in the comments. Maybe, did he just say that they can do a Tom Bombadil and I won't complain? No, I will not complain if you have a standalone little Tom Bombadil movie. All right, I'm fine with that. As long as he doesn't do anything weird that would upset what we already seen.
Yeah, we can have the Thunder Giants back too. Tom Bombadil and the Thunder Giants.
God, you're killing me with this thunder. I still maintain that is a fever dream that they all have in that moment. They don't see giants. I don't want those giants to exist. They are world breaking, and I can't allow it. See, that's when you knew Peter Jackson got too big to fail, because he came up with this idea, and in the first go, people were constantly questioning him. He would be like, I want the Witch King's flailing mace to be, 3 times as big and this big. And everyone's like, you're crazy. And then they would do it, and then eventually like, oh, I see what he's saying. But when Peter Jackson came to them and said, I want these mountain giants to literally be mountains, basically titans, the ancient Greek titans that are having a boxing match. And nobody questioned it. And they're just like, yep, makes sense to me. Anyway, I don't know. We'll talk about that in another video. Because this one's more about the fact that Peter Jackson is back on with Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyens, who are going to at least be there to give their take. That's all I'm asking. And that's all I asked of the Rings of Power. But McKay and Payne, we talked about this, they ghosted Peter Jackson for no reason. Hear him out. Hear the man out. Like let him say his piece. You don't have to follow it. I'm not saying you have to let Peter Jackson write it. But he has gone through this process twice. And if you're going to count each movie individually, 6 times. And he's had to fight the studios and deal with how are you going to make this work. He literally invented the CGI technology to make it. He's gone through the process to make this thing as good as it can be. Why wouldn't you at least hear the man out and let him say, hey, I think this part of the script is great, but maybe not have sexy Sauron or something like that.
No, I'm fine with sexy Sauron.
I actually like sexy Sauron. I think, for too long I've wondered what's under that. What's under that? All that armor.
And now we know why Galadriel did not go to Mordor.
Yeah,
because that's her ex.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, so I'm really glad that So having Peter Jackson, but not just Peter Jackson, they also mentioned Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyens. They're in the quote unquote in the loop, which is a statement from Peter Jackson himself. And the fact that they are not looking to remake the original trilogy or The Hobbit. They are looking to simply expand places that are not very well known. That is perfect, at least a perfect starting point. if you want to then build up into it and then we can see where it goes, like this is how you move forward with this. So already I am on board with how Warner Brothers is approaching this. However, I am also weary that they're going to lose patience with themselves and just jump in and remake the original trilogy. So that's my other worry, is that they're going to just see how much money simply releasing like Pirates of wherever. They're not going to call it pirates, but you know what I mean. The Scourge of the Sea. And they're going to see how much money that makes. And then they're going to like hint at like, I don't know, they're going to hint at like Boromir or someone in it. And everyone's going to lose their minds. And they're going to go, oh, you know, we have some, if we just do something with the OG characters, you know, maybe we should do the original trilogy again. So that's my worry.
Like, do the pirates, get Johnny Depp in it, whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Have Johnny Depp, literally don't change the costume at all.
You can have Legolas back in there too. Legolas is a blacksmith now.
You have Legolas, who is moonlighting as a blacksmith in a random human town. Falls in love with a human woman. Jesus, that's terrible. That's our worst idea. We have some good. We have some. Everyone who I've seen your comments. Everyone who says we have terrible ideas, that is our worst. But you are kidding yourselves if you don't want to watch Young Aragorn, or The Adventures of Legolas and Gimli, or Sam the Mayor, or any of our fun ideas. The you know, Prancing Pony special, whatever. You guys know those would be hits. All right. Anyway, yeah. So, do you have any more to say on this? This is another one where it's unclear what the rights are gonna be, because, like, so who has the rights to the look of the original trilogy? Is it Warner Brothers, like New Line Cinema? But like, I think Warner Brothers owns them. So could they actually use the original look of some of the?
I think they could.
I think so, right? So like, that's also a big step for them, is that
maybe they have the upper hand to do a better job than Amazon, maybe.
The thing is, Amazon, it's not like these looks are like trademarked. You can make it similar enough that we know. That's what's so weird. It's like Amazon's like, not only do we not have access to make it look like that, we don't even want it to look like that. Everything's gonna look completely different. You're not gonna know whether this is Elven or human tech or Numenorian tech. No one's gonna know who's making what armor, except for some eagle-eyed people, and those people, you know, you can find them on YouTube. That's not us. We're more about the storytelling of Lord of the Rings. But yeah, so I'm actually excited. As I know in the previous video, I was not excited. You were much more excited. I'm now on your level. I'm excited. I want more content. Well, 'cause the thing is, and I was actually saying this to some other friends of mine. I was saying, look, right now, I don't really have anything that I'm hyped for in terms of shows or movies or anything right now. Like, I'm sitting here like nothing's really piquing my interest the way I used to have so much on the go.
You didn't watch Perfect Match on Netflix?
Perfect Match on Netflix. Actually, I watched a show on Netflix. I want to kind of plug it here. It's called, what's it called? It's called Physical 100. It's a Korean show, and it takes these.
Oh no, I've seen a bit of that.
Yeah, so it's essentially it's Squid Game. They took a bunch of like bodybuilders, and anyone could enter, but like most of these guys were like gym rats. So you got like.
And then they have a bust of themselves, and when they get eliminated, they smash.
That's right.
The bust.
That's right.
I saw this.
Yeah, so I watched that. That was kind of entertaining, but okay, you know what I mean though. There's nothing like when I was watching early Game of Thrones, I was super hyped for that, and like that's, I want that again. And when I heard about Rings of Power way back in 2018, I had that level of excitement.
It's so hyped that you started this channel.
That's right. I got so excited. I was like, this, I want to talk about Lord of the Rings. The only other person that wants to talk about Lord of the Rings is you. So why not record it? And that's what I want. I want that level of excitement, and I'm getting back there with the Warner Brothers thing. I am a little bit still nervous, but I'm getting there. And you know, I do want to see other aspects, because you and I have watched the original trilogy so much that we can just quote the entire thing, and we don't even have to watch it. Yet I do still watch it, but like, I don't need those things anymore. I have that. I can just go watch it right now. But I don't. I want to know what's going on in other places, and that excites me. Like that gets me, that really gets me thinking, and you know, I'm really excited to see what they're able to come up with. I still think our ideas are great, but I do want to see what else is out there outside of that core, the Fellowship, and you know, Elrond, Galadriel. Like, I want to see other characters that don't even know who Frodo is. Like that's who I want to see, because the world is it's a fascinating world, and I think there's a lot more to explore. So yeah, I'm back on the hype train with you, and you know, now we've got a lot more to talk about when they finally do, you know, release a title. They're gonna release a title, and we're gonna do a 20-minute video talking about a title.
Samwise, Mayor of Hobbiton. That's such a bad idea.
That's such a good idea. That's not our worst idea.
And he's the mayor and he solves people's problems. I like this actually.
What if it's almost like a detective show, and it's just he's walking around Hobbiton like people like are, I'm missing my favorite, you know, my favorite pipe, and then it's like it turns out like Pippin stole it or something, and he's got to track down Pippin. I would watch that, and so would you. And
I'd watch it. Of course, I'd watch it.
All you people watching this channel who are about to comment, "That's terrible," you would watch it. Do not kid yourselves.